I always liked the English language a lot. When I was a child, I remember pretending to be acting like I was talking on the movies, pretending to be singers singing their songs, pretending to be on TV having those conversations on the talk shows. I like the arts, playing roles, imitating these people speaking English. One day, when I was studying in the second grade, my teacher, knowing I liked the English language very much, invited me to attend in a presentation in which the students would sing the famous song by Michael Jackson, We Are the World. I was 7 years old and the other students were 10, 11 because they were in another class. So I remember during the rehearsals thinking, that's it, that's it. I'm going to learn to sing it right, I'm going to learn the words, and I'm going to know this and every other song I hear in English by heart. As I grew up, still without a computer, no internet at home, no network access as you know it today, I remember putting together the coins my parents gave me to buy magazines that contained the lyrics of the artists that I liked. Every day I learned a new song. Every day I tried to imitate more the way they pronounce the words, the intonation between them, all the dance that happened in my mouth of the words, connecting to each other, It was simply the most unbelievable thing I had seen. And each day I felt more capable of taking a bigger step. So, day after day, I learned to turn these words and these songs into dialogues, into conversations, and I kept replaying everything in my head until I thought it was practically the same as the original. By doing things that way, I had only one goal: to achieve perfection. To speak English in a way that no one would notice it wasn't my mother tongue. So, all this practice, all this almost obsession with pronouncing words correctly, paying attention to correct usage of these items necessary for second language development, were finally taking me to my goal. I liked English so much that when I grew up, I got a part time job in a school as a teacher. So, all the effort to communicate with lightness, all the years of study, led me to this very moment. One day, I was in my classroom, planning classes for the day, and a native English speaker came in, a visitor, with the principal of the school. Both said hi, the principal introduced me as a teacher, and he passed the baton so that I could continue there in that conversation, you know, without any pretense of being anything big. Just one of those coffee break conversations. And the moment I went to answer that person, I froze. I just froze, you know. I didn't remember anything, nothing I spent years studying, nothing I pursued all the years of my life. All the perfection I was looking for was transformed into nervousness. It became my biggest block in that moment. I had to show someone, a native English speaker who was born speaking that language, who studied year after year, who traveled the world, how much I knew to communicate with it. What if he doesn't understand what I am saying? What if I use an incorrect term? So I just stayed there with my paperwork. I left home devastated that day. I had already contact with natives when I was younger. I had already studied for that moment. So what happened? Why couldn't I indulge in that conversation? I continued teaching. After all, I loved and still love what I do. I feel insecure sometimes, but nothing compared to the situation, to the day I froze. Today, after years of teaching, after a lot of studying with my students and observing their behavior in situations similar to the one I went through, I noticed that this fear, this uncertainty about what to say, how to respond, this insecurity takes them to constantly at work, when attending meetings, when replying mails. Brazil is the country with the most language schools in the world dedicated to teaching English, but still, only a small portion of our population speaks in a fluent level. With the students who come to me, I realized that it's not their fault, my fault, or the institution's fault, but this insecurity, of the search for speaking perfectly. Is there something wrong with trying to speak perfectly? Of course not. Many people study for years and years, and the search for this perfection depends on some other factors too. If this individual dedicates time to these studies, if he studies the grammatical structures for a conversation, if he even has knowledge of the spoken slangs in a certain place, if he had the opportunity to study abroad, not only to learn the language but to experience the culture. Be interested in pronunciation, applying mirroring techniques that were the first I had contact in childhood, increase vocabulary, all of this will make you get where you want in your final goal, which is speak perfectly. If it's this what you want, why not? But this pursuit of perfection distracted me from my goal and took my focus off what I was looking for, which was to communicate. You see, I'm here communicating with you in English, overcoming my teenage fear. And you understand me, don't you? Practice can give us more confidence by turning the key to the second language. People tend to think that learning a new language is something banal, but it actually opens up the universe of possibilities, of transformation, where those who show confidence come out ahead. Is perfection needed here? No. It's no use if you studied your entire life looking for different ways of pronunciation and methods, if you memorized a very specific vocabulary. At the time of putting into practice, your confidence is not allowed. My perfection process hindered me. It brought me a block, which only years later I managed to get rid of. So, also watching the process of other people, but especially my students, I could understand that with the confidence I had when I was 7 years old, I could talk, show the world my voice, making mistakes, getting it right, doing what I believed was perfect. And what I have to say is, we are the world, and we are not perfect, but we can be if you want. And if you don't, that's fine too. Thank you.